Hi, this is Eric and I'm Joni Hansen, and this is our daughter Estefani Hansen. And when she was 12 years old, she was diagnosed with an incurable cancer that the medical world didn't have a protocol for. So this is Estefani, and she'll kind of give you a little how this kind of journey started.
Hi, so at age 12, I went to the hospital thinking I had appendicitis, but soon realized after many scans that I had cancer. It was crazy to think that I could ever get cancer, but with the help of my parents and doctors and nurses, they helped me to get where I am today, a survivor.
She's amazing. It hasn't been a fun journey or easy journey, but it's a journey that you definitely can do and succeed if you are, well, we all love the Lord and we trust 100% on God's direction and His guidance. So we prayed and prayed, and when she was diagnosed at the hospital, the doctor came in and said, yep, there's a tumor on her bladder, and yes, that means cancer. So that stopped us in our tracks. Lots of tears right away, and but in that nanosecond of time that only God did, He said, resist the spirit of fear. And He showed me what fear does is it grips your heart and it renders you paralyzed and ineffective. And there was no way that I was going to be ineffective for my baby. And also He showed me at that same time that what fear does. It causes confusion and anger, bitterness, confusion, and division was the last one, and it was the division that hit me to the heart. And then after we hugged and we prayed to Stephanie, we walked out into the hallway, and Eric came out, and the first thing out of his mouth was, we are going to fight this as a united front. We are not going to be divided. And so just knowing that we had that assurance right away, right as the diagnosis was put out there, we knew we were going to be okay. No matter how it ended up, we knew the Lord was in control. And at that point, I continued to say, people would say, oh, aren't you mad at God? Different things like that. And don't you wonder why? And I'd say, I can't ask why. Because God is sovereign and I am not. And no reason is good enough for this mama to have this happen to her baby. So, and Eric said right from the time of diagnosis, I am expecting God to show His glory through this, no matter what the end result is, because we didn't know. So with that, we ended up in oncology, and we had a double Hickman installed. Found out she had
a tumor removed from her bladder.
A third
That was
of it.
The first operation and only operation she had,
Yep.
which was really good. And we did not, the medical world had no cure for her. So that's when we began our journey to find out what we should do. And we pursued a lot of different avenues.
Yep.
And a lot of people had a lot of advice for us, and we put them in basically a
Sure.
box until we had as much information as we could, and then we prayed about it, and we were led to Dr. Connor's clinic and the protocol that he had, and it was via one of our friends whose daughter he was able to help here. And so we already had a contact that there was a success with cancer. And so we were very excited and
optimistic. So when we came for our first consultation, it was just Eric and I after he had examined Stephanie, and she went out in the lobby, and so Eric and I are just...
This is really cool.
Yeah, this is really cool. So Eric and I are sitting there, and then so he knows the history, what's going on, and he didn't know what we had been telling people or anything, and then he shares about himself, and he was talking about he said, I am not the healer. God is the healer. And it's hard when people come in and say, you need to heal me, you need to heal me. He goes, God is sovereign, I am not. And I almost fell off my chair because he didn't know that that's what I was saying. And then he continued to say, and it's God that gets the glory through this, no matter what the outcome is, if you allow Him. And that was exactly what Eric had been saying. So when we walked out, we were like, we know this is where the Lord is directing us for this protocol. And so we jumped in, full guns, and didn't worry much about what it was going to look like as far as financial, because when you are praying and you're connected and not divided, you got to just really trust that the Lord will provide, because it's not a want, it's a need. And at that point, that's what, you know, God promises, I will provide for your needs. And we needed something for our little girl. And so that's what brought us here, and that's what helped us sign on the dotted line, so to say.
Yep.
But it's great, because the other forms of protocol that the medical world is trying to give us, would give her 2 other forms of cancer. That was a side effect. And that's like not okay.
Yeah, wow.
It's not okay. So anyway, so she's strong and healthy. She's now 17 and just doing really well. So
That's wonderful.
yeah, so any other specific questions?
I don't think so. You guys did such a great job. Thank you so much for sharing. We really appreciate it.
Well, we really appreciate the staff here and Dr. Connors, and that there's hope for those that aren't given hope.
Yep.
Yep. And one other thing is like with naturopath and this natural way, it's hard sometimes because people don't understand it, and it's against the grain. But one of the things that I tell people is, as far as like side effects and negative side effects, really the only negative side effect is that it wouldn't help. It's not going to cause something else or destroy her body via chemicals and things like that. The only thing that it's going to do is just not affect it.
Right.
Then there's other things that you can do. So with like medical bills ramping up, you know, you really need to weigh the pros and the cons. You're going to be spending anyway, but what are you doing to your body in the meantime? So the natural way is the way that we would go, even if something new came up with my health or Eric's health or any of our other kids. That would be the choice. We would invest our resources in what's natural, because it's not going to hurt us in the long picture.
Yeah.
So we think it's the way to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.